What's good, family? This is a new show that I'm starting here entitled the, um, a new channel that I'm starting, right? I have other channels, but this is a channel that I wanted to create separately to address some of the issues um, within the black community, and we named it the Black Independent. So I want to welcome you to the first show of the Black Independent, and we'll call it the Black Independent because if you're aware, if you're aware of what's going on politically, there's a movement abreast where we are as Black Americans finally waking up, and we're realizing that the two-party system is not for us. Of course, most people know that Black people have been overwhelmingly loyal to the Democratic Party, not so much to the Republican Party, although that it used to be different in the past. But Black people now are waking up and realizing that really the Democratic Party hasn't really been our friend either, right? The Black Americans have overwhelmingly supported the Democratic Party, and we keep getting the same thing over and over and over again without much results or benefit to ourselves as a people. So we're waking up. And so I decided to introduce this channel called the Black Independent, where we're not loyal to either party. We are about that ADOS. We are about those tangibles 2020. We are about no black agenda, no black vote. So we're not loyal to any party, and so thus the name for the channel. Tonight's topic that I want to talk about on this first live stream of the Black Independent is the issue of the ADOS movement. And there's been this claim being put out there, this narrative put out there, that this is possibly a plot to divide Black people. So we wanted to discuss that tonight. Is the ADOS movement a plot to divide Black people? For those who may not be aware, by now you should be aware, but if you're not aware, just so you know, ADOS means American Descendants of Slaves, right? Referring to us Black Americans who are descendants of slaves, not Black Americans who are immigrants. But that's the issue. Is this a plot? Some are putting forward that this is a plot to divide Black people. Well, of course, the answer to that is no, right? Let's just put it right on the table. The answer to that is no. This is not a plot to divide Black people. This has been explained very well by people such as Tariq Nasheed, the Black Authority, of course, Tone Talks, Yvette Carnell, Browning, right? Breaking Brown, right? This has been made clear that that's not the case. We support, and if you listen to some of these people, you'll see, like for example, Tariq talks about his support for our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. The Jamaicans are going for, they've been trying to push for reparations from Great Britain, and rightfully so. We support them in that. We've shown our support as Black Americans for, Malema and the brothers and sisters in South Africa, right? And we've been supporting their movement, and in their call for getting their land back from the white colonialist farmers and the descendants of those white colonialists. We support them, right? We support our brothers and sisters in Haiti and other places around the world in the Black African diaspora. So that's not the case. But that's the false narrative that people are trying to push. But why are they trying to push this false narrative, right? They're trying to push this false narrative, and they're acting like they don't understand the true purpose of the ADOS movement. They're pushing this false narrative that this is somehow an idea of American Blacks disuniting from the African Black diaspora, and that's false. As I've said, many of the people who are in the forefront of promoting this have spoken. And I agree with myself. We've supported our brothers and sisters, for example, in Zimbabwe, with the same issue in South Africa of getting the land back from the farmers, from the white farmers who obviously inherited that land through means of invasion and colonialism by the white colonialists, right? And we supported them. In fact, brothers and sisters were upset after Mugabe was removed from office, and the next leader that succeeded him talked about giving the land back. We were upset, right? Because we supported them. We support them in getting, we believe they're justified in getting their land back, right? We believe they're justified in getting their land back. So when we saw that the next ruler or leader of Zimbabwe was talking about giving the land back, we as Black Americans were upset about that, right? Many of you may have seen the video where there was this video, probably a propaganda piece, but where they showed all the brothers and sisters, a lot of brothers and sisters in Zimbabwe happy and celebrating when a white farmer was returning back to his land. We were upset about that because we believe that they are justified in getting their land back and owning it and possessing it. Right? So definitely this is not a plot to divide Black people. As has been explained many times by, as I mentioned, the people in the forefront, the ADOS movement is about Black American descendants of slaves and their issue with the United States government in getting reparations for ourselves. Right? That's all, and also agendas in politics by and pushing to politicians who are running for office, whether locally, statewide, or going, or want to represent us in the Congress, or if they want to become president, in making sure that they have an agenda that is directly for Black American descendants of slaves. Because we need it. As I mentioned at the beginning, we've been supporting the Democratic Party for far too long and really getting nothing in return. So now we're saying any politician, even if you're a Republican conservative, liberal Democrat, independent, Green Party, libertarian, whatever, you want our vote, we demand an agenda for Black people, right? We demand an agenda for Black people that will help us and benefit us in this country, just as other groups have done so. But but what they're doing is clearly because there's and you've seen the backlash, right? We've seen the backlash from some of the so-called elites, among Black people, trying to promote a false narrative about the ADOS movement. And so we begin to ask ourselves, why don't they want us to have this movement? Why are they trying to discredit this movement and discredit our concerns and our push for an agenda, for agendas and tangibles that are directly for us? So we wonder what's going on with that. So again, the ADOS movement is clear that it's not a plot to divide Black people. You've heard the narrative that these are Russian bots. Wrong. You've heard the claim that this is some kind of COINTEL plot to divide Black people. Wrong. These are all deflections from the true and justified concerns of Black American descendants of slaves, where we're saying we want whoever is running for office locally, as I said, locally, statewide, and nationally, to start to provide tangibles that can benefit us as Black Americans directly. We don't want something that is generalized and ambiguous and vague for poor people, underprivileged, minorities. No, we need something that is directly for us. As has been said, we have been here since before this country became the United States. When it became the United States, we fought in every war, put our lives on the line for them. And yet when it's time for us to ask for some tangibles, they don't want to give us something directly for our benefit. We have to share it. And that's not fair. That's not right. That's what we're saying. That's what we're saying. We're not saying we're against our brothers and sisters from the Caribbean or Central and South America or from Africa or from other places around the world. That's not what we're saying. We can unite on other issues, right? We can unite on those other issues. But when it comes to politicians running and they want our vote, we're saying it's time for you to give us something directly. And from this point on, that's going to be our call. From this point on, I pray that the ADOS movement remains strong and that this will be the new thing that goes on into the future. So that for however long this country goes on, whenever somebody's running for office and they want that black vote, you're going to have to give us what we need directly for us. You can still help the other groups. You can still help immigrants if you want to. You can still help, whoever else needs to be helped. But we're gonna need something directly for black American descendants of slaves. And that's not and see, these people are promoting this false narrative, acting like this is like we're asking for too much. It's not too much. They've done it for other groups. Right? They've done this for other groups. So why can't we get some benefits ourselves? And as we go on, I'm going to talk about what they've done for other groups to show you when they try to make it seem like we're asking too much and this can't be done, that it's a bunch of bullshit. All right. And then the other thing too is that they're trying to push it like the ADOS movement is a plot to divide black people. And as I said this in my discussions online, is that's not the case. We as black Americans have always tried to unite with other people. We tried to call for the black and brown coalition or black and brown alliance, right? We try to hook up with our brothers and sisters from the Dominican Republic and Haiti and brothers and sisters coming from Africa. But as I'm sure you've heard many times, when we try to do so, there's this divide, not from us, but from them, where they don't want us be associated with the black American, right? Not all, but there's enough where it's clearly a divide, but not coming from us. That's the point, that this divide is not coming from us and has not been coming from us. We've always been welcoming to other people of color, thinking that, they were equally against white supremacy like we were, and then we come to find out they're not. We come to find out that they're not. Sometimes, in fact, a lot of times, they want to join with white supremacy rather than identifying with us. They want to align themselves with the dominant society here in America, rather than trying to unify and unite with us against the white supremacist operation. So they can't charge us with being the dividers. No, we tried to link up with these other groups, and we're still open to link up and work on other issues dealing with white supremacy unified. But on certain political issues here in the United States, ADOS is saying we need tangibles and an agenda that is meant directly for us, where the gains are not shared, because we need something. We've been behind too long in this country. We've been here amongst the longest, other than the Native Americans, but we've been left behind just far too long, and we've done so much. We've put our lives on the line in every war in this country, given our lives, even times when this country was still discriminating and treating us bad. Black men still joined the United States Army, right? I wouldn't have done it. I would have took, Muhammad Ali's position. But nonetheless, black Americans still did it for whatever reason, for whatever goal they thought they were going to achieve. They still put their lives on the line and joined the military and fought for this country, even when this country wasn't giving them the rights that they fought for other people to get. Right? Like I heard on Professor Griff say on one of the Public Enemy albums. Right? America wants you, the United States military wants you to be all you can be, so you can fight to keep America's enemies free. Right? They always sending you to free somebody else. They sent you to free Europe from the Germans. Right? You fought in Germany, you fought in Italy and all these other places, but yet when you were fighting, you didn't get your freedom. You didn't have your freedom here at home. And then there were things when the GIs came back that they passed these GI bills, but they only allowed whites, soldiers and veterans, to get those benefits. Blacks were shut out. And it is because of these things, the redlining and other systemic policies that they put forward, that have the masses of black Americans still at a disadvantage. People tell us, oh, you got to pull yourselves up. Yeah, we've been fighting and hard, fighting to push ourselves up for the longest. Negating the fact that white Americans got that helping hand up, which puts them ahead of us with a head start. Not to mention the fact that we were already behind because of slavery. And then the Jim Crow, and then redlining and being shut out of the GI housing bills and all these different things like that kept us at a disadvantage. Now it's time, if you really want equity and equality, it's time to even up the odds for real, right? They say, oh, well, we give you, affirmative action was supposed to be for us, but then they opened it up for everybody. And that's why, once again, we have to share affirmative action. And that's why we're still not where we need to be. Because now affirmative action is for women, white women, other minority people, right? And of course, when you got to share it, when it was meant directly for us, where happens, we wind up not getting where we need to be. And so, in an attempt to claim that this is a plot to divide black people, they've come up with certain distractions to distract us from the real issue. You heard about the bots claim that, these are bots. These are Russian bots. Right? No, it's not Russian bots. That's just a deflection to distract from the real issues presented. Right? They're saying that to try to deflect and having to avoid that ADOS is really bringing forth real and legitimate gripes and complaints and issues. So to distract from having to address those issues, they say, oh, these are Russian bots. These are Russian bots that trying to get you not to vote. These are Russian bots that trying to get you not to support Kamala Harris or whoever the hell else is running. Meanwhile, they're ignoring the legitimate issues and gripes that are being put forward. They're ignoring that, and then what they do is they ignore those issues, and then they try to make it these secondary issues. To try to avoid, oh, they're just, they're saying that Cory Booker and Kamala Harris, they're not black enough. That's a deflection from the real issues. That's a deflection from the black agenda. What's the black agenda, right? Reparations is one. Land grants, business loans or grants. Some people are saying we no business loan. We actually want grants, business grants. Just like they've helped other people get those grants that they didn't have to pay back, but it allowed them to raise their people up, raise their community up. So really, yeah, business grants, land grants, community development, real community development policies, not no park. You ever notice that whenever they want to help or claim they're helping the community, oh, they make a park. We don't need no damn parks. We need community development, man. We need businesses. We need businesses, shopping mall. We don't need no damn park. We don't need a new basketball court. These are the things they give you, these useless things that don't benefit our community. What the hell is a basketball court going to do for us? Another place for people to hang out with no jobs? No, create businesses, shopping malls, strip malls, right? Business parks, executive business parks, office parks. That's what we need, not no recreational park. We have enough of that. We have enough basketball courts and all that stuff. We need business development, community development, real community development, criminal justice reform. We need also the addressing of police brutality, right? These are just some of the things. But, they try to deflect from the legitimate claims of the ADOS by using these things. Oh, look, they're talking about her hair. They're talking about her hair. They're saying she's not black enough, right? But they keep doing that to deflect from the real issues. They don't want to address the real issues, so they try to make it seem like, oh, it's just it's just that they think she's not black enough. Kamala Harris is not black enough, or Cory Booker is not black enough. No, it's what have they done or not done. With Kamala Harris, it was about her record as a prosecutor, the DA and Attorney General when she was in California. Her truancy policy that we know affected overwhelmingly blacks, right? Instead of coming up with a way to help with the truancy and find out the root causes, they always they want to punish, right? They want to punish the black community instead of finding out, hey, let's have some social programs that can help with truancy. No, instead they come up with the harshest way to try to make us suffer and pay, and that's what black people are upset about with her record, right? Among other issues that have been talked about before. Not about because she's not black enough. Not about because you know, these silly things that they try to make as the, you know, as the main issue. And no, those were little side things that people brought up to talk about. But the real issue was talked about, which was her record. Same thing with Cory Booker. Your record. What are you doing? What do you have for black Americans specifically? And of course, most of you've now seen the latest Kamala Harris, when she just made it, she said it point blank. Is she gonna do something for black people directly? No. Okay, well then no, you're not getting our vote then, right? And whoever else wants to step up, and if you don't have nothing for us directly, no, you ain't getting our vote either, right? And so, you know, they are also scared and trying to make this claim that the ADOS is a plot to divide black people, because now they see we're really waking up to what's been going on with the Democratic Party and how they have not really done anything for black Americans, even though we've supported them for the last few decades. So now they're afraid. Now they're trying to hold you on the plantation, as they say. And let me make this clear. We're not going to the Republican plantation either. Candace Owens, we're not going to the Republican plantation either. What we're saying is, any politician, if you want this black vote, you better come with some tangibles for the black American, descendant of slave community directly. Whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, Libertarian, Green Party, whoever, you want this black vote, we need tangibles. We need a black agenda. No black agenda, no vote. Plain and simple. Okay. Now, the other thing that you know they're doing to claim, to try to, you know, again, like I said, the claim that ADOS is a plot to divide black people is nothing more than a deflection. It's a deflection, right? I've been seeing, you know, there's some people on social media. And, you know, to me, I'm starting to think that some of these people are bots. Bots from the Democratic Party. Bots from the liberal community. I'm starting to think that these people are bots. Because it's been explained over and over again what our position is. And it's clear when you listen that it is not about division from the black African diaspora. That's been made very clear. That's been made very clear by those who are in the forefront of promoting the ADOS. It's been made very clear. But they continue to act like they're not hearing what we're saying. They continue to act like they don't hear what's being said. So they keep trying to distract us with these issues, because they don't want you to leave the Democrat plantation, right? It's weird, you know. Republicans, they haven't really been trying to get the black vote anyway. They're concentrating. They're still using what they call the Southern strategy, where they're still appealing to, you know, the angry white racist, you know, conservative. So they're not really trying to get her. They tried a little bit. You know, maybe they're trying to do something with Candace Owens, but I think that's really a farce anyway, because Candace really just uses their same old, you know, white conservative talking points anyway. So, and she doesn't really go on black. You know, black media to try to, so clearly she's not really trying to reach out to the black. She's just saying stuff. She's just saying stuff that appeals and makes the white conservatives feel good. That's it. She's not really, I haven't seen her really try to appeal to black voters at all anyway. Right? But so our main opposition is coming from those who we've supported. The main opposition to the ADOS are those who we've supported, who we thought were our allies, and that was the Democratic Party and the liberals. Now we're finding out that, as Malcolm said, they're the wolf in sheep's clothing, right? Malcolm told us this a long time ago, back in his time, Malcolm X, that they're really the wolf in sheep clothing. The other party just lets you know where they stand point blank. These liberals are the wolves in sheep clothing, pretending that they're our friends when in reality they're not. When in reality they're not. So we're being told that, well, you know, politicians can't address an agenda of only 13% of the population. That's the claim I see. I don't know if you guys have seen this claim, right? But that's one of the claims that I've seen, is that, you know, they're saying, hey, you know, ADOS, you need to slow down. You know, no, they claim no politician can make an agenda for only 13% of the population. But that's a bunch of bullshit, because there are groups that are less of a population percentage than us, and yet they've gotten their agendas met, right? They've gotten their agendas met. For example, did you know that the LGBT community is only 4.5% of the population of the United States? So whenever somebody brings that argument to you, ask them, how come these groups are less than us, less than the 13%, so-called 13% of the American population? Why were their agendas, why were they able to be given a direct agenda for themselves? They were allowed to start getting married. That was directly for them, right? They had the thing with the military, that they could now be open in the military. That was directly for them, right? They could be included on their partner's, you know, health insurance and all these different things like that. These were tangibles that were directly for them. A portion of the United States that's only 4.5%, and they're trying to tell us that we, who are allegedly 13% of the population, that we can't get an agenda specific for us. This shows you that these people don't know what the hell they're talking about, right? And you know, it's funny that it's allegedly, because again, like I said, I think these people may be bots, but allegedly it's other black people even, you know, that are against this. I've been on social media, on Twitter, arguing people, black people who appear to be black, I'll say that, who appear to be black people, telling me and us that, well, hey, you can't expect them to, you know, do something for, have an agenda for 13% of the population. Well, they've had an agenda for 4.5% of the population. But guess what? Even less than that. Did you know they've also had agendas for a portion of the United States that's only 2.2% of the population, and that's white Jewish Americans. White Jewish Americans, they're still white, but they are of an ethnic group of whites because of their religious ethnic background as Jews. They only represent 2.2% of the population, according to this article here from NPR. And of course, we know that they've been given agendas for them directly. So how is it that all these groups that are much less, single-digit numbers, 4%, 4.5%, 2.2% of the United States population, and yet their agendas are being met direct. They have agendas directly for them, specifically for them, where they don't have to share it with anybody else. So again, it's clear that there's this agenda against ADOS where they don't want us to have anything. It's been that way too long, and it needs to stop. But they clearly don't want us to have anything. Did you know that Obama, when he was in his administration, they passed and approved $12 million in reparations for Holocaust survivors? How? America didn't even, it was the Nazi Germans that committed the Holocaust against the Jews in Germany. Why is America in the most recent decade paying $12 million to Holocaust survivors when America wasn't directly involved? So they can offer them $12 million, but we can't get anything. We can't get no tangibles. We can't have an agenda specifically for black American descendants of slaves. So again, this is why you see, brothers and sisters, that this is a bunch of bullshit. It's a bunch of bull, man. There clearly is an agenda, which we already know. There clearly is an agenda to see us rise. They don't want to see us rise. It's evident. Because all these excuses can be knocked down when you say, look, They gave a group, and hey, if you talk about Holocaust survivors, that's way less than the 2.2% of the American white Jewish population in America. They're even a smaller percentage than that. But $12 million was approved in reparations for them. Yet the Holocaust didn't even take place here in America. Our Holocaust took place here. The black American Holocaust took place here, and we still haven't been compensated for that. Ain't that some shit? Right? Ain't that something? Wow. So that tells you what they think about us. That tells you what they think about us. See? That tells you that what they think about. They're willing to give all these other people stuff, even a group that did not even face any suffering or atrocities here. They're willing to give them money. And America didn't even perpetrate the Holocaust against them. But the people that America did perpetrate the Holocaust against, we don't get nothing. Ain't that some bullshit? For real. Amazing. Not only that, but look, check it out. The Senate also agreed, which is justified, to give Japanese Americans back during World War II. They compensated them when they were put in internment camps, right? They agreed to compensate them. This was back during Ronald Reagan's presidency. They were giving them, I believe it said each one would get $20,000, compensated $20,000. Each one, each of those people, each of those survivors, $20,000 apiece. Now, of course, we're supposed to get more than that if they decide to finally calculate if the reputation. Some people said it's in the trillions, that they owe us collectively as how they divide that up. We would see, but it's up in the trillions, so we would get more. But look, again, the point is they still gave groups that are smaller than us reparations. They gave groups smaller than us reparations. So we don't want to hear this bull that, that we can't be given anything. There was also another thing where they gave Israel was recently approved for 38, right? $38 million. Right? There was a thing where Israel was recently approved for $38 million. The House passed the bill to give Israel $38 million. Again, a group of people. This is another country. This is another country. This is another country. And they're supplying, and by the way, Israel gets billions from America every year, by the way. Once again, giving to a people who did not perpetrate the Holocaust against them, but taking care of their country with billions of dollars every year. Every year. Every year, Israel gets, at least from what I heard, I think it was $3 billion. $3 billion every year goes to the country Israel. Yet, black Americans, we can't get anything directly for ourselves. Right? We can't get anything for ourselves. But other countries can get theirs. Right? Let me show you this article where it shows that Israel was approved for $38 billion. Let me pull that up for you real quick. And again, I'm showing all this to show you that when they keep telling us that, there can't be a specific agenda for a small portion of the population, that's bullshit. because they've given stuff to groups that are way smaller than our population percentage of the United States. So when they tell you that, don't listen to that. It's a bunch of bull. It's a deflection. Right? It's an excuse, a weak excuse, because the evidence says otherwise. Right? The evidence says otherwise. Here you go right here. You see right here. House passes new $38 billion aid package for Israel. $38 billion. For Israel. But they telling us we can't get nothing, right? They're telling us we can't get anything. Black Americans, no, you can't get anything. They say. Well, we know that's nonsense. Because they're giving aid and compensation to groups that are way smaller than ours. Why is that? Why are they so against the rise of the black American in particular? Why? Why are they so against us? Why do they not want to see us rise? Why do they not want to see us be on equitable terms with them? Why? We all know the answer. I'm asking why rhetorically. We know the answer to that. We know the answer to that. But I'm just saying, why? Why don't they want to see it? Why do they spit in our face by doing stuff like this? Showing it. Look, they're showing us. Look, they're giving stuff to other people. Right in front of our face, black ADOS. Look what they're doing. They're basically saying they're giving us the finger, man. This is like giving us the finger. We're saying, yo, we need some compensation here. They're giving us the finger and giving it to somebody else. Right in front of our faces, they're giving it to someone else, less than us, less numbers than us, lesser percentage of this population than us, of people that they didn't do a goddamn thing wrong to. They're giving it to these people instead, man. So ADOS, we need to stay hard on this. From this point forward, ADOS needs to be the new movement and the continued movement as long as this country goes on to exist. We maybe even in the future, ADOS can be its own political party, in fact. But we need to stay on this, and we need to make sure we cannot sleep on this, brothers and sisters. We cannot sleep on this. We cannot drop the ball. We can't fall back asleep. Because this nation has clearly been giving other people money, some of whom they didn't even do a damn thing wrong to. But the people to whom they've done wrong, they're saying, fuck you. And giving the shit to other people who don't even freaking deserve it, at least not from us. It should be Germany that should be paying for Israel. It should be Germany that should be giving Holocaust survivors compensation. What the hell is the United States giving it to them for? So we're making it clear, any politician, if you don't have a black agenda, you will not get a vote, and you guys will keep getting your asses kicked in the election. Plain and simple. You want to start winning again, you better start doing what we ask. So all ADOS, you need to get on board. Stop believing the hype that this is some kind of plot to divide, because that's a bunch of bullshit. It's not a plot to divide. All it is that we're saying we need tangibles directly for us to help better our situation the same way you've helped benefit these other people. Once again, even people who America didn't even violate them historically. You violated us historically, and you giving everybody else money that really should be going to us, so we can get a leg up on things. One other thing too I wanted to address too about this is that some of the claims that they've been trying to make to try to dissuade ADOS or further discredit it is also claims that, you know, when we're asking for these reparations, that this is a handout. You know, they're trying to say, oh, you're asking for a handout. I've even seen other black people say that too. Oh, stop begging for hand. No, this is not begging. This is not begging. This is not begging. This is a demand for what is owed to us. We gave this motherfucking country centuries of free labor. We fought and died to help these motherfuckers defeat their enemies in other places in the world, and they still give us the finger, man. That's what we're saying. So this is not no damn handout. This ain't no begging. This is what's owed. This is like if you did a job and you are going and you didn't get paid, and you keep going to the owner of the company saying, yo, where's my money? I worked. I did the work. I need my money. That's what this is. This is not begging for a handout. All that is, again, these are all what I believe are bots against ADOS, trying to dissuade us from demanding what we know and they know is owed to us. So don't fall for these claims that, oh, you're begging. No, this ain't no begging. This is what's owed to us. This is what's owed to us. Since our ancestors, since you didn't pay them, well, we're the inheritors. And because you didn't pay them, it has put us decade after decade in a disadvantageous position as a whole. Now, I'm not talking about the celebrities and all of that. But as a whole, more of us need to be on equitable footing with those in the dominant society. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. I've also seen another claim that they're trying to say that, you know, somehow ADOS is joining in with this patriotism and the MAGA people. No. Although I have seen some people put American flags, I'm not going that far with it. That's the one thing I do not agree with. I'm not draping myself in no American flag. I'm not putting no American flag, you know, on my Twitter account. That's one thing I'm not doing. So that's the one thing I don't agree with, right? But nonetheless, still the claim that ADOS is joining with MAGAs, no. ADOS is also against this Make America Great red hat Trump wearing BS. We're not down with that. We're not in alliance with those people. That's a falsehood. That's a lie. Okay, but like I said, I have seen some ADOS putting the American flag. I'm not going that far. For me personally, I'm not going that far. I'm not putting no American flag, you know, on my Twitter with my Twitter profile, her name and all that. I'm not doing that. Okay, no, I'm not doing that. Okay, I'm just not gonna go that far, because you know, for me, the flag still represents the wrongs that they've done. To us. So just like I look at the Confederate flag, the United States flag is the same for me. So I'm not going that far. For me personally, I'm not doing that. But nonetheless, the claim that ADOS is joining in with the Trumpers and the MAGA hatters is a bunch of bull. Right? We're not in any alliance with those people. We don't have the same agenda. Right? And even though you may see some ADOS say, you know, build the wall. Usually it's in a, I guess it's in a diss towards the immigrants who, you know, who we sometimes see come here and disrespect black people. So then they'll say, you know, they'll put it in that way, but not in the same way of thinking as the MAGAs and the white supremacist racists who want the wall built for their own white racist reasons, white racist agenda reasons. Usually if an ADOS person says it, from what I've seen, it's usually as a diss back at some, you know, maybe some Latino who says something about blacks or something like that. Usually that's the vein that I've seen it said in. Okay, so no, we do not have the same agenda as the Trumpers and the Make America Great hatters and all that nonsense, that BS again. Okay. So, again, ADOS is not a plot to divide black Americans, descendants of slaves, from the black diaspora, right? The African diaspora. That's not the claim. That's not it. All it is we are saying that we, as American descendants of slaves, all we're saying is that we need tangibles that are directly for us, so that way we can finally start to really and truthfully repair our positions here in America. All these other groups are getting ahead. They've been given their business grants and loans and all these different things to help them. The DACA, all that stuff. But with us, we have to share. We have to share things that are for minorities. Very vague, very general. We need something now that's directly for us, that we do not have to share with others. Something that will only benefit us, so we can get our footing finally in equitable terms with, you know, where we need to be in this society. They talk about the wealth gap. They said it would take 200 years. We black Americans are at a 200-year gap of wealth between us and white Americans. And we need to, and that needs to be closed. We've been here about just as long as they have. Of course, they had the head start because we were in slavery, and then we had Jim Crow. So now it's time to close this gap. 200 years, that means it would take 200 years to catch up. And of course, we'll never catch up because when we're trying to catch up, they'll still keep moving ahead and moving ahead and moving ahead and moving ahead. So really, you'll never catch up. The only way we could catch up in 200 years is if their wealth stayed stagnant. But it would still take 200 years for us to, that means I won't see that, you won't see that, a couple of generations won't see that. And again, that's only if the white stayed stagnant in their wealth. And we know that's not the case. So we'll really never catch up. 200 years, we'll never catch up. Because as we try to catch up, they'll still keep accumulating and moving ahead also. So we need to do something to give us a leg up now. We need an immediate gap close. Or something that will at least close that gap closer. That's going to take less than 200 years. That's what we're saying. And we're saying that we are owed that. No disrespect to the brothers and sisters from the other places. Our immigrant African black brothers and sisters from Latin America or the Caribbean or Africa. Nothing against you. But this is just something for us. We need this. We need to get our foot up because we already know they already have stuff for you to benefit you. They already have stuff to benefit you as an immigrant, to help you get your businesses, to help you get housing and all these different things. Now we need something for us that's directly for us. Because when these things have to be shared, then we don't get all we need. Because it has to be, right? They only have certain amounts they can give. So they got to help everybody who fits the category of a minority. And therefore, those who need it, who like us, well, we can't get it all because it has to be divided up amongst all these other groups. So we're saying we need something directly for us. No shade, no disrespect to you. And look, we support you from your country if you're trying to get what you need from yours. Jamaica, we support you in trying to get your reparations from Britain. South Africa, brothers and sisters from over there, we support you in getting your land back from the white colonizers and the descendants of the white colonizers. We support you in that. Our brothers and sisters in Zimbabwe, we support you. From Nigeria, we support you. We want to see y'all all rise up. We want to see you all be successful and get control of your. Matter of fact, many of us were upset. We're upset still that we see that China is coming in, and China seems like the new colonizer now. That you guys over in Africa are letting China come in and they're getting a foothold in your nations and on the continent. Why are we upset about that? Because we're still with you. We're still with you. We want to see you rise just the same. But again, this political movement here is about us directly in this country, which has done us wrong historically, and about it doing what it needs to do to compensate and repair the damage that it has done to us for centuries. That's what we're saying. And unfortunately, you shouldn't be getting any of that because this was meant for us. Right? This was meant for us. But can we unify to fight white supremacy in a unified front? Sure we can. Can we support each other in other agendas to benefit us all as a black people? Sure we can. But this ADOS right here is about what we need here between us and the United States government, between the descendants of slaves and the United States. That's what this is about. So I hope that this has informed you, those who watch this later, and that you will, not fall for the trick that this is some kind of a plot to divide black Americans, black people, because it's not. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and end it with that. This is, like I said, a new channel, one of my new channels, because we want to join the discussion. So please subscribe if you like what you heard tonight, and you would like to. We're going to bringing you more content. And you would like to further support our platform, you can you can help us out by donating to the link in the description of this video. Right now, of course, this is our first night. It's a new channel, so tonight we didn't have that many watchers, but hopefully those who will watch this afterwards, this channel will continue to grow. and hopefully you'll spread the word. You will subscribe to the channel, because we're going to bring you more good content like this. So I appreciate it. So those of you who watch this at a later date, later time, I want to thank you and appreciate your watching and your support. And let's do this. ADOS.